More than 2,000 years ago, China was not the unified superpower we know today. Instead, it was a land fractured by countless warring kingdoms, each vying for supremacy in a brutal age of constant warfare. But from this chaos emerged a dynasty that would change the course of Chinese history forever, the Qin Dynasty. In this video, we will explore the rise and fall of the first Chinese empire, a tale of ambition, conquest, and the dangers of absolute power. The story of the Qin Empire begins during the Warring States period, 475 to 221 BCE, a time of intense conflict and political upheaval. For centuries, China had been divided into 7 major kingdoms: Qin, Chu, Zhao, Wei, Han, Yang, and Qi, each fighting to expand its territory and dominate the others. At the start of this period, the Qin kingdom was just one of many contenders, but it quickly became one of the most powerful and aggressive. The key to Qin's rise lay in its leadership. In 247 BCE, a young boy named Ying became the king of Qin at just 13 years old. Though inexperienced, Ying was determined to fulfill a vision that would set him apart from the other rulers of the time. This vision was one of unification, of bringing all of China under one central rule. Under the tutelage of skilled generals and administrators, Ying adopted a ruthless approach to warfare. His advisors, many of whom were veterans of countless battles, encouraged him to pursue a policy of absolute power through conquest. The Qin army, though smaller than those of rival states, became known for its efficiency, discipline, and innovative tactics. Ying's reforms also made the army stronger, introducing new weapons and a more unified command structure. Over the next few decades, Ying waged a series of successful campaigns, defeating the other warring states one by one. In 230 BCE, Qin defeated the Zhao army in the decisive Battle of Changping, effectively crippling one of its most powerful rivals. With each victory, Qin's territory expanded and its power grew. By 221 BCE, after decades of war, Qin was the last remaining kingdom standing. Ying, now the undisputed victor, declared himself Shi Huangdi, meaning First Emperor. It was a bold move, one that would forever change the course of Chinese history. No longer was he simply a king. He was the ruler of all China. With the title of emperor, Shi Huangdi didn't just seek to control the land, he sought to reshape it. His reforms were sweeping and ambitious, aiming to create a unified, centralized state where everything from the economy to culture was standardized. He introduced a new system of laws based on the strict philosophy of legalism, which valued order, discipline, and absolute control. Shi Huangdi's legal code was brutal in its enforcement. Those who defied the law were punished harshly, and the concept of individual rights was non-existent. The emperor believed that only through strict control could the empire survive and thrive. This also extended to his policies on culture. In a move that would go down in history as one of his most controversial, Shi Huangdi ordered the burning of books that promoted ideas contrary to his rule. Scholars who resisted were executed, and a wave of censorship swept through the empire. But Shi Huangdi's reforms weren't limited to law and culture. He also introduced massive infrastructure projects to strengthen the empire. Roads and canals were built to facilitate trade and communication. A standardized system of weights, measures, and coinage was implemented, unifying the economy. Perhaps his most famous project, however, was the construction of the Great Wall of China, which was designed to defend against nomadic invaders from the north. The Great Wall was an extraordinary feat of engineering, stretching thousands of miles across the northern frontier. But its construction came at a high cost. Thousands of workers died from exhaustion, hunger, and the brutality of forced labor. Despite this, Shi Huangdi pressed on with his vision of a unified China. Despite the impressive accomplishments of the Qin Dynasty, Shi Huangdi's reign was not without its flaws. Obsessed with the idea of immortality, he embarked on a relentless search for the secret to eternal life. He sent expeditions to distant lands in search of elixirs and magical potions, squandering vast resources that could have been better used to strengthen the empire. The emperor's paranoia only grew as he aged. Fearing assassination, he surrounded himself with bodyguards and constantly moved between palaces to avoid being targeted. His obsession with avoiding death even led him to build elaborate tombs, where he would eventually be buried with thousands of life-sized terracotta soldiers intended to protect him in the afterlife. Though his reign was marked by extraordinary achievements, it was also characterized by his increasing isolation and obsession with power. This paranoia would play a crucial role in the dynasty's downfall. In 210 BCE, Shi Huangdi died unexpectedly, leaving behind an empire that was built on shaky foundations. His son, the second emperor, ascended to the throne. But the young emperor was weak, indecisive, and unable to maintain the iron grip of his father. The Qin dynasty was already struggling with internal corruption and rebellion. Many of the emperor's ministers, who had once served Shi Huangdi loyally, were now focused on securing their own power. Revolts began to spread across the empire, and discontent among the people grew as taxes were raised to fund the emperor's lavish lifestyle and constant military campaigns. By 206 BCE, the Qin dynasty had fallen apart. The rebels, led by Liu Bang and Shang Yu, defeated the Qin forces in a series of battles. Liu Bang would go on to establish the Han dynasty, which would rule China for the next 4 centuries. The Qin dynasty lasted only 15 years, but its legacy was enormous. It laid the foundation for China's future imperial system and created a centralized bureaucracy that would serve as the model for future dynasties. The reforms Shi Huangdi implemented, particularly the standardization of laws, currency, and language, left a lasting mark on Chinese society. Although the Qin Empire was short-lived, it was the first unified Chinese state. The dynasty's dramatic rise and fall serve as a powerful reminder of the dangers of unchecked power, but also of the possibilities for unity and transformation. The Qin Empire may have crumbled under its own weight, but the echoes of its achievements still resonate in the modern world. The rise and fall of the Qin dynasty is a tale of ambition, triumph, and tragedy. It shows us that even the most powerful empires are vulnerable to the flaws of their rulers. But the legacy of the Qin lives on, reminding us that even in the ashes of a fallen empire, great things can be built. Thank you everyone for tuning in to this week's History Binge video. I hope you all enjoyed learning about the rise and fall of the Qin dynasty. Don't forget to hit the like button, as well as subscribe for updates on weekly videos. Take care, stay curious, and keep binging through history with us.